On today's Rice Report, I am joined by returning guest Lynette Zang. She is the Chief Market Analyst at ITM Trading. And today we have a two-part interview. Part one, we are going to be talking about my recent promotional partnership with ITM Trading. We're going to be talking about everything that ITM Trading offers, and if you are interested in scheduling a gold and silver strategy call, be sure to use my specific landing page and or Calendly link and custom 1-800 number. I will have all that linked down below and in the pinned comment section, and it is a way that you can support Rice TVX. I will also include a link for the playlist that includes all of Lynette Zang's previous appearances, and also make sure you're checking out part 2 of today's interview. Before we get into it, make sure you visit ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain content. You will also find links to all of my various channels as well as my social media. Make sure you're following both of my YouTube channels, Rice TVX as well as Rice Against the Grain. And due to censorship, make sure you follow me on other alternative platforms such as Rumble and Odyssey, where I do post up exclusive content. If you want to support Rice TVX, be sure to check out and join my Patreon channel, where you will get early access to my videos with no ads, unedited. You will also get exclusive content and more. I will include links in the video description for everything I just mentioned, as well as everything shared on today's video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on today's show is a returning guest, someone who's been on the show for quite some time, quite many appearances. I think this might be like the 12th, 13th, 14th appearance. She was my second interview back in 2018 and has been on the show since then. Lynette Zang, welcome back to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing excellent. It is really good to see you, Chris. So
Likewise.
yeah, we've been together for a long time.
We have. And what's really cool about this particular video, and I want to let people know I'm going to be recording this in two parts. So there will be a second part that's going to be a conversation about what's happening in regards to our global economic system, what's happening here in the United States with the Federal Reserve, what's happening with interest rates and CBDCs. But today's first part is going to be all about a partnership. I have a promotional partnership that I have acquired and made with ITM Trading, thanks to Miss Lynette Zang, and I'm going to be working with ITM. So I brought her on the show many times, as I mentioned, and throughout those conversations, she's talked about what ITM offers, and I'm a huge fan of what Lynette does, what ITM Trading does, and there's a lot of different precious metals dealers that have different sort of purposes, but the purpose of ITM Trading, from what I understand, is just really kind of giving people foundational knowledge, helping them to come up with a customizable strategy based off of your research and things that you've done that works for them, that puts them ahead of the curve versus just buying basic silver bullion and things like that.
Right.
So I want to let people know that if they want to take advantage of my partnership with ITM Trading and support Rice TVX at the same time, make sure that you're using not only a specific custom 800 number. If you want to schedule a strategy call, you can use a Calendly link that's customizable for my channel. And I also have a landing page. I'll have all this information in the video description and the pinned comment. So if you want to support Rice TVX, be sure to use those specific links and numbers. But if you don't mind, Lynette, would you kind of go over briefly what it is you guys offer at ITM Trading with these gold and silver strategy calls?
Oh, absolutely. Because the goal is to help people put their best interest first. You shouldn't really just trust somebody blindly. That's why I always give links in all of my videos. I'm giving you my opinion based upon my research. And one of the things I've been studying currencies and currency life cycles, which makes me really unique in the industry, frankly, since 1987. And once you start doing that, what you see are repeatable patterns. So the strategy is based on historically repeatable patterns. It's not rocket science. But if we are doing the same thing that they've done 4,800 times over 6,000 years and have always 100% of the time gotten the same results, I'm kind of thinking that that's going to be true this time. This time is not different. And I think it should be pretty apparent to everybody that we are transitioning into a completely new system. And so what you want when you enter that system is you want to be armed with an arsenal that's actually going to help you sustain your current standard of living and also potentially put you, and most likely, put you in a position to take advantage of this transition. So it really is a strategy. It's pretty simple. If it's super complicated and you can't understand, then there's always room for maybe some things that aren't necessarily in your best interest. So gold and silver are both super simple, but there are nuances. Like, I like to look at things and say, well, what if I'm right or what if I'm wrong? And if I can do something where it really doesn't matter whether or not I'm right or wrong, then that's the direction that I'm going to choose to go in, even if it costs me a little bit more, because in the long run, it could save me a whole lot and put me in a much, much better position.
Right.
So everybody at ITM has been trained in the strategy, and we can help walk you through, because what you really need to bring first are your goals. Let's put you first. What are your goals? What are your circumstances? And what do you have to work with? And we can help you define it, because a lot of times, people don't know. Well, they're like, well, I don't know. I think I should just buy gold because there's inflation or there's this or there's that. And the reality is all gold is not equal.
And I learned that from you. And
Yes,
thank you for teaching me that, because I did think that, in a sense, all gold would be fungible. And in a way, I guess it is,
it
but
is.
but when you have certain gold coins, and I guess what I would be referring, and what you're referring to more specifically, is the pre-1933 gold.
Yeah, which is the only gold that I buy these days. That has not always been true, but once we hit the final phase of the currency's life cycle, technically, once we hit that, then I no longer felt comfortable with it, especially when I saw the confiscation that happened in 2016 in India and
Right.
also in Venezuela and in many other places in the world where
So
they have confiscated the gold. Yes.
the gold that was confiscated, would that have been like state issued or bullion? Because
It depends on where it is,
because
right?
how does pre-1933 make it non-confiscatable in that aspect?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked, and this
Because
was
I'm
not
curious.
planned. But
No, because
yes,
I'm
ask
very
me all those
because I'm
questions.
very curious about the night. I mean, you've mentioned this, but I don't think I've ever actually specifically asked you, what is it about the pre-1933? Because I would think
Mhm.
that, like, a state issue gold coin and a pre-1933 gold coin are still going to have the same amount of gold.
They do.
There's no
But the
difference in that aspect.
Correct. There's no difference in that aspect. But in 1933, when they confiscated gold from the citizens and they took it away from the citizens, other governments could still use it. But they did that. Um, it was Treasury Secretary Wooden who wrote in there that coins printed prior or minted prior to 1933 that had rare and special value to collectors were not just exempt from confiscation, but also exempt from oversight. Because in 33, if you were, say, a jewelry fabricator or a dentist or something like that, you could still get gold. but the gold that you took had oversight. And
Right.
he did not want to, because he knew well what they were doing and how they were devaluing the currency. So now this is my assumption, okay? Because he did put that law in place. And that's what makes the difference. So the pre-33 gold coins have a completely different classification. They're classified as a collectible. That's why you cannot hold them inside of an IRA. And I think
Okay.
that's really interesting because, as you pointed out, Chris, they're the same gold content, they're the same weight, they're everything except of the classification.
And then when it comes to actual monetary value above and beyond the weight, some of them
Mhm.
have different values based off of rarity and things like that as well, correct?
Correct. Because when you stop and think about it, the gold that was minted prior to 33 was intended to be used in circulation. So this particular coin happens to be an MS63. MS stands for mint state. And the 63, the number designation, tells you the level of blemish. Because way back when, they weren't thinking about this as a collectible when they were minting them for circulation, right? So they would have stacked them, they would have thrown them in a pouch. So even though if it says mint state, and you really, PCGS or NGC are the two globally accepted grading services, anything else could be, iffy. But if it says mint state 63, that tells you it's never been in circulation and has a higher level of blemish, because mint state runs really from like 60, 61 to 70. And I've never seen a mint state 70 in a pre-33 coin. Because again, they
Okay.
would have stacked them, they would have thrown them in a pouch.
What about collector status silver? Same boat?
Well, similar kind of boat. Yes, so everything being the same, but they just don't seem to perform as well because there seem to be a lot more out there.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's
So
more silver than there is gold in the world that we know of.
correct. And I'm not really concerned about a confiscation of silver, because silver kind of straddles two worlds, right? The industrial world and the financial world. Gold is used in every sector, but not industrially, not as much as silver. Plus, silver gets used up,
Right.
right? Gold is you can recover gold.
And in 1933, there wasn't a silver confiscation. It was only a gold confiscation, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they actually did do a silver confiscation. That would have been more like in 60, 61 with President Johnson.
Okay.
And that's when they started to take the silver out of the coinage.
Out of the coinage. Okay. Yeah,
Out of the coinage, and actually came out and said, and if you're thinking about hoarding silver, we will, I mean, they didn't say it in this word, but this is what they said. We will crush the silver market. So
we
don't
will
try and hoard
manipulate the
that
hell out of the
silver.
price.
Exactly. And they've been
We got
doing
JP
that.
Morgan. We got JP Morgan. They're going to help us out. We're just going to find them a little bit of money, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's just fine. Don't worry, nothing's changed. Well, except that in 1971, a family of four could live with one salary at $9,500. And
Right.
today, you're even having people that are making $250,000 a year. Now, this has been increasing, living paycheck to paycheck.
I saw your recent bread videos. I'm not sure which one it is for me to pull it up on screen offhand, but I saw where you had something like 50 loaves of bread or something like that you ended up
Oh, no, it was
donating.
135, I
Okay,
believe.
I thought I was being modest with the number. 135 loaves of bread.
Yeah, and I do have one of those coins from a $1 coin, gold coin, which these are all the denominations. Look, you can barely see it. See how little it is?
Let me
This
pull it
is
up.
a 1-ounce coin.
Okay.
Okay. So you could kind of see the difference in size, right? So this is a 20th of an ounce of gold. That's 1, This is a 2.5, a 5, a 10, and a 20. But yes,
The smallest coin denomination of gold is a fifth of an ounce,
20th.
20th of an ounce.
Yep.
Okay.
And this used to back, excuse me, $1.
Wow.
So this, well, here's a ripped dollar, but this used to be. You can tell what I do in my spare time, right?
Well, I've seen you do it on videos. Now, I mean, I've done it too. But is it technically unlawful to rip money up? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
certainly hope not.
But I
because
love
I'm
the
in deep
statement. I'm sure.
trouble
Well,
if it is.
I'm sure if it was, somebody would have knocked on your door over at ITM.
Yeah, probably. It might be. I mean, I'm not really debasing it, but I mean, they're
No, you can
debasing
tape it
this.
back together.
Well, I did for a while. You could kind of see, and then I just gave up.
I think I've shown you the artwork that I made out of a bunch of pieces of ripped dollar bills. I'll share it in a video edit of my. It's a piece of art that took all these pieces of ripped dollar bills and formed it into an anarchy symbol,
Oh,
and it's hanging up on my
interesting.
wall.
Yeah,
I think I've
absolutely.
showed it to you, but I'll send you pictures of it. I had collected little pieces of ripped money for like 10 years. I still have a little bit left, but it's all different denominations. It's so beautiful. It's a good statement too. Good
It
statement.
is a good statement. You should have that on your background.
And I thought about it, but the thing was when I first did it, everybody was trying to tell me it looked like the Avengers logo. And it kind of was going away from the sense of like why would I take a bunch of pieces of ripped money and make an Avengers logo? It just doesn't make any sense. So it kind of bothered me, and it's just sitting on the wall across from me. But yeah. Anyways, to keep this video kind of tight and concise to ITM Trading and what you guys are offering, what makes you, aside from you, Lynette Zang, you alone, what separates ITM Trading from all the other competition out there?
Well,
Why
that
should
is
people call and schedule an appointment with you guys?
right, because it is really the strategy on how to walk through this reset and what kind of gold and silver. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to put you in gold and silver. And a lot of times, people come into the industry where, and maybe they were selling shoes last week, so they don't really understand what is the financial markets and what's really, really happening. So it is definitely our strategy. We've been together. ITM's been out there since 95. The team that we have at ITM, most of them have been there for a very long time. Since I've been there since 2002, 2005, 8, 9, etc. So we have a lot of experience and we are a cohesive team. So it's based upon the strategy that we execute with you is first of all based on your goals, circumstances, and requirements. But then beyond that, it's based upon historic norms. So that's different than anybody else out there. And you're right, they don't have me. I don't really know anybody else that has been specifically studying currency life cycles since 87.
No. That's why I feel so fortunate to be able to have the conversations. I mean, like the way that you're able to take this financial noise and translate it into something that people can understand. It's really
My
helped
goal.
me. It's really helped me and to be able to communicate to other people as well. And I know a lot of other people are in the same position. You just have a way of explaining things.
Thank you.
I could only imagine having you as my actual grandmother growing up listening, because I can only imagine how your grandkids are going to be.
Well, you've seen my grandson, one of my grandchildren on air a few
He
times.
loves the camera.
Oh my gosh, yes, he does.
He is not
And
shy
he
with the
wants
camera.
and he wants to be president. And even though I don't know why he would want that job, we need somebody that bright in there. So I would support that.
I agree 100%. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time to explain what you guys do over there at ITM Trading in regards to the gold and silver strategy cause and how you guys are helping people to customize something that works for them to be able to preserve what they have. as far as purchasing power. And then also, if you're in a position, the legacy building is a big thing where you can be able to have what you're accumulating go towards future generations, which I know is something that Lynette
Exactly.
Zang is huge on, huge on. Again, I'm not only the knowledge her grandchildren would be inheriting, but I'm sure they would be inheriting some gold as well. So be
So
smart.
let's
Like,
just hope that they're smart with it. That's what I'm trying to, do.
I
But
think
yes,
they will be.
absolutely. I think they will be too. I like to think that anyway.
So before we wrap up this first part, do you have anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to add, or any final thoughts in regards to just specifically what you guys are doing there at ITM Trading?
Yes, the one thing that I want people to really understand is that this isn't the beginning of the trend. We're more toward the getting toward the very end of the trend. And so the choices that we once had to build those portfolios to support, whether or not it's sustaining your standard of living or positioning you into growth, et cetera, we don't have as many choices as we once had. And I think people procrastinate and think, okay, well, I'll do it. When is this going to happen? And I'll do it right before. Even I, who pay so much attention to these markets, couldn't tell you even 1 second before it's going to happen. But what I can tell you is I would always rather be early, because if you are 1 second too late and we enter this next crisis and we are super close on it, you will not have any options. So please take advantage of it while you still can.
Well said. Well said, Lynette. Thank you. And again, I want to encourage anybody who is interested in scheduling a strategy call, make sure that you're using my landing page and or my custom 800 number and Calendly link specifically for ITM trading. It is a way that you can support Rice TVX, and it'll be greatly appreciated. All the information will be in the video description and the pinned comment. And there will be a second part to this video that's going to be talking about everything that's happening in today's world beyond this conversation. So make sure you tune in for that second part. I will have that link down below. And as we wrap up today's video, make sure you subscribe to Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain, as well as both of Lynette Zang's YouTube channels, which would include ITM Trading and Beyond Gold and Silver. And I will leave you with this. I encourage you to be a blessing to others, treat people how you want to be treated, be the glitch you want to see in the matrix, be the change you want to see in the world. And until next time, practice change.